Good morning and welcome to JP's Morning Brief. Hello everybody, it's James Pierce with this morning's JP's Morning Brief for February 5th, 2026. Thank you very much for tuning in. Before we get started, I'm just going to give a quick rundown of what we're going to talk about in just a second. I'm going to read part of a letter from Trevor Newland and Benjamin Franklin. I got it divided up into 3 parts, so I'll read the first part this morning, and then we're going to talk about the SCOTUS' decision, that'd be the Supreme Court, on Prop 50, Fang Fand Bang Bang's campaign finance problem he's got, and believe it or not, it's not even illegal. I mean, it's unethical, but it's not even illegal. And then House is moving to block the District of Columbia City Council on some tax relief from the president. And I call the DPRV, which is the Democratic People's Republic of Virginia, continues its socialism march. I put socialization, but socialism march. And then I got some stuff from the Texas scorecard. So I know I'm not going to get to all of it in 30 minutes, but I'm going to give it a good stab and get it going for all of us, because it's just a morning brief, and we'll go from there. While you're watching, if you're not already a follower, please click that follow button, and then click that like button. It's a thumbs up, and please chat if there's not a give me a little bit of two-way conversation here. If you like something I'm talking about, something intrigues you, if you're interested in me looking something up, I'll either verbally tell you that I saw it and then try to engage on it real quick, or I can type out a response. And then you can also leave a comment in the comment section, which doesn't go away. And I get an email anytime someone leaves a comment, so I can keep track of that. All right. So welcome to JP's morning brief for February 5th, 2026. So the first one is that letter I was telling you about. This must have been a really important letter, because when I printed it, it was 5 pages long. But we're not going to read that much this morning, because we got some regular news we need to get out too. All right. Sir, immediately, remember this is from Trevor Newland to Benjamin Franklin on the 5th of February, 1776. Immediately after I had waited upon you at Philadelphia, I proceeded to New York, and finding much difficulty in pursuing my intended journey, I delivered your dispatches to Mr. Lewis by direction of Mr. Van Livingston, and wrote to you at my return, acquainting you therewith. I have not wrote to you so frequently as I would do, imagining that your time might be employed better in the matters of greater movement to the public, to where public utility is in question. Apologies become unnecessary. Please, therefore, to accept the following hints from one who has seen service. I'm amazed at a ship or two laying at New York for some time past in the violation of United Provinces. I never saw 2 vessels that lay in more danger were they attacked, and they as well know it. The Asia lay along the North River and refused to go into the Sound until Parker, a senior captain, was sent with a ship to reinforce him. With positive orders from the admiral to go in, it may be seen by her writing to the mayor and by Parker's treating and bullying the town. There is 3 ways of taking it or destroying it. Could it be kept secret? First, by boarding, for as the Asia must ground at low water, the spring upon her cables would be of no use. I apprehend that our lower guns could not range over the wharf when aground. Therefore, a few guns with grape shot run down upon the wharfs upon her bow and quarter would effectively sweep and clear the decks while the people boarded. Secondly, if there were mortars or even guns to throw combustible matters on the deck, in the rigging, to stick on her sides with grape as before to prevent extinguishment. The guns with the grape would be out of powder. I would be out of power, and her guns while aground. The third and best method, as I imagine, I would undertake myself with a reasonable person to command the detachment as second in command or engineer or conductor of the works, or as I told you, in any character so that I might be serviceable to the cause. The method I will here lay down as well as I can. There is Long Island and Nutten Island, well situated to place guns, and I imagine 300 or 400 men would be sufficient to complete all the works that would be necessary in one night. The greatest difficulty would be to get cannon to Nutten Island, but they might come from the Narrows by night in flats. It would be impossible to point out whether the faculties or difficulties of the undertaking in the course of a letter. The greatest difficulty will be to keep it secret from the people of New York. Okay, so that's part one, and I'll continue this afternoon. This is an intelligence letter so far. Unbelievable. So, yeah, because there's about to be a battle in New York, and I'll be a spoiler. It's not going to go too well for the American forces, but there's intelligence coming out and giving them ideas on how to defend New York, all right? So let me put this over here because I'm going to get to that later on this afternoon at noon. All right, so the rest of the morning brief. Okay, so I'll go more in detail on this later on, I guess. With the Supreme Court cleared the way for California to use its newly redrawn congressional map, which shifts 5 seats in Democrats' favor in the 2026 midterm elections. The High Court's decision to decline to take up the emergency appeal, it's not a full ruling, it's just the emergency appeal, from California Republicans comes as voters in the state approved the ballot measure called Proposition 50, which allowed the state to enact Democrat-friendly map in time for the midterms. The justices' decision include no dissents or explanation. State Republicans, joined by the Department of Justice, had sued the Democrat governor of Gavin Newsom, alleging that the map was an illegal racial gerrymander in part because of the mapmaker, Paul Mitchell, touted that it would bolster Latino vote. California lawyers argued to the High Court that those claims were insufficient to meet the high burden required to overturn the map. They also said no district actually gained Latino residents of voting age. Maybe that might be a tactical mistake that California made. None of the stray statements invoked by plaintiffs reveal racial-based motive, let alone the racial motivation that predominates over the others. Prop 50, according to Newsom, was a way to fight what he called the presidential Donald Trump's power grab in Texas. my home state, which passed its own intended to give the Republicans 5 seats. Newsom and Republican Governor Greg Abbott both professed that their redistricting efforts were grounded in politics and race was not a predominant favored in the maps drawing process. But lawyers for California Republican argued at the Supreme Court that state officials harbored another purpose as well, maximizing Latino strength to shore up Latino support for the Democrat Party. Pernicious and unconstitutional use of race. And then okay, so I can go more into this later. So I gathered 2 different things about this. While I don't agree with what the Supreme Court did, it's only temporary, and there's going to be more of a hearing on it later. But they granted the argument because filing season starts, I believe, Monday for the candidates in California. It seems like some of the Republican lawyers that were arguing the case weren't as aggressive as they needed to be. And just because you say they're Latino majority, which, look, there should not be a majority-minority congressional district out there anyway. You can look at the conservative movement inside the Latino community as a lot stronger than the conservative movement in the white community or the black community. Hispanics deemed to be more conservative than a lot of other ethnic groups around the state and the country. So you can say that, yeah, he did say that, and it's on video that he did say it. But at the same time, you might be pleasantly surprised about the Latino districts that are being created in California, that they might just go conservative, right? You treat them the right way, they'll go conservative. And then the next thing I would like to say before we move on to other things, other matters, is they may have been slanted to be favored for the Democrats, like in Texas we did. But 2 things that they did. They overrode a part of the California constitutional amendment that was passed during the governorship of Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I cannot believe they actually overrode a law, but they did. And that's their right as a state. But as a candidate, your job is to get out there and campaign for what you want. Like Darrell Issa already said, I'm running for re-election. He's intending to win. If you're a Republican in California and one of those districts got redistricted so it'd be less advantageous for Republicans, you know what I tell you? Get out there and campaign and win those votes so you can get reelected. Don't cower behind a desk and say, well, I can't win because they won't give me the race. It's not your race to be given, it's your race to win. You get out there, you get the supporters, you kiss babies and you flip pancakes and you do what it takes to win. Show them, talk with them, don't talk about them. You got Erica Kirk said it yesterday on Fox. You don't talk about them, you talk to them. You have to. That's the only way you're going to gain voters and win is to get out there and get involved. It was said several years ago about Republicans in black communities. You get in there and you stay in there. You don't just go in there at election time. I see too much of that around here. You see these politicians that, whoa, yeah, we've always been your friend, and they shake hands with you. And then I got a cat sticking his paw under my door. Wow, go figure. Uh, but they come out and just shake your hands and like it's, oh, I've always known you. You're my greatest friend. And then as soon as the election is over, they pop smoke and they're gone. So we'll go more into that later. The next is still dealing with California. Eric Swalwell. Eric Swalwell charged $200,000 of campaign cash to personal child care, which, wow. See, I've been doing interviews on Republicans, and that's one of the questions I was asking them. Matter of fact, what is your view on campaign finance reform? You have people like Cori Bush. She was charging her campaign for security for her, but the money that she was writing the check for her for security was to her husband. What? Well, this is on the same wavelength. A campaign, okay, yeah, okay, I'm going to read just part of this because I want to get some more news because this is just a brief. A campaign finance expert is slamming progressive Eric Swalwell, or Fang Fand Bang Bang, for spending over $200,000 of his congressional campaign cash on inherently personal expenses, childcare. Fang Fand Bang Bang, who has been in Congress since 2013 and ran a brief and unsuccessful bid in 2019 for president, is currently running for California governor. Fox News did a review of federal election finance dating from 2019 to 2025 found that Swalwell's congressional campaign has reimbursed him over $200,000 for child care related costs. A significant portion, and you will love this next paragraph, a significant portion of those expenses, over $22,000 from his most recent House and gubernatorial election filings, were just 3 months of child care from October to December of last year. Okay. The 3 payments on his gubernatorial campaign filing for child care are made to his wife, Brittany Swalwell, in total over $6,000. Like my daughter said last night, isn't that inherent duties of his wife is to provide child care, or vice versa? Why is he paying his wife for child care from a campaign? I never wrote my wife a check. I couldn't afford it anyway because she's more valuable than $6,000. But the fact is, he used campaign donor money to pay his wife to watch her own children. It doesn't add up. This is crazy. We need campaign finance reform really bad. Part of this is $57,000 and change was paid to Bambini Play and Learn Child Development, a Spanish immersion daycare and preschool in Washington, D.C. between 2023 and 2025. The monthly tuition for Child Development Center is between $2,500 and $3,200 a month. Wow. So if you count that up, if you just say $3,000 a month, that's $30,000. That's $36,000 on a $176,000 salary. Wow. Childcare reimbursement is the reason listed as the vast majority of these costs. The filings also list $9,700 for reimbursement for payroll tax for campaign child care. We need campaign finance reform in our country drastically, because this is ripping. If I wrote him a check for $5,000, that would be about what me and my wife could contribute to a candidate in a year. And I found out he wrote his wife a check for $6,000 for child care. I would personally be asking for my donation to be returned. If you agree with what I just said, give me an American flag in the chat, because that is utter nonsense. That's misappropriation, and I would call it unethical and fraudulent. That should never happen. Give me an American flag in the chat if you agree with what I was just talking about. The next is D.C. The House moves to block the District of Columbia from stopping Trump tax cuts on tipped and overtime workers. That is because the District of Columbia is a federal city. It's not a state. It's not a state. It's not a state. It's not a state. The House of Representatives passed a bill on Wednesday aimed at stopping the District of Columbia from local government from blocking blocking parts of President Donald Trump's new tax law. DC's Progressive City Council passed a local measure to stop certain parts of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act from going into effect due to the expected cut in city revenues. Policies that would have blocked include Trump's elimination of tax on tipped and overtime, as well as certain cuts aimed at businesses. The legislation that was led by Brandon Gill from my state of Texas, who told Fox News Digital he did not expect the Democrats to support the bill. It passed the House entirely along party lines 215 to 210. Republicans want more money in the hands and in the pockets of working class families, and Democrats want that money to go into the hands of government. The D.C. government generally conforms to large swaths of the federal tax code and the federal territory itself. Good job, Mr. Gill. He's from the Metroplex, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and he has a long career ahead of him as long as we don't have term limits. But he has a lot of future. A lot of future. What time we got here? 6:53. Okay, I'll get to that one later on, so I'll just shift. Hey, if y'all didn't know, I'm going to the Leadership Institute School today. It's a Zoom course, 3 hours long. It's conservative podcasting school. So, I've been doing the podcast, and I'm going to get some further education to make myself better at doing this with this and with the JP8 report. So, wish me luck this afternoon. We'll read a couple articles in the Texas scorecard. Two stupid Democrats in Texas, their district attorneys, they're going to be joining the fight against. They're from Austin and Dallas, and they're going to be helping people in anti-ICE protests. The two Texas district attorneys, notoriously being soft on crime, have joined a coalition of progressive prosecutors targeting what they call lawless actions of federal forces in states and cities around the country, especially the ongoing efforts of Immigration Customs Enforcement to remove criminals in the U.S. illegally. There's nothing illegally about removing an illegal alien. The legal part is to get them out of our state and our country. So I wish these guys would get unelected here in Texas. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo, she's endorsing Al Green. He's going to make an attempt to run against a Republican in the new Texas 18, which he should lose. But let them spend all their money. Right now, it's the old CD 18, Congressional District 18, is being held by his last name is Menifee. He won the other day, but they're going to run. They're going to make a run at it. But the district went like this. Well, went like this. Now it's going to go like this. Okay. And then, let's see. Some illegal alien couple got sentenced for making fake IDs. They need to go to prison for a long time and then been sent back to Mexico. All right. And the last Texas scorecard one I have to be read is this chapter hide real quick. What time we got? 6:56. I'm running out of time. Wiley Independent School District responds to Islamic handouts at the school. I went to Wiley High School for several months when I was a little kid. Okay, it's I don't know. I didn't go to the wait a minute. Wiley Independent School District. Yeah, that's near Abilene. Yeah. Officials in the Wiley Independent School District have responded to public outrage over Islamic materials, including pamphlets on Sharia law, being distributed at the high school campus. On Monday, a group called Why Islam set up a table in a common area inside Wiley East High School during lunchtime. A group was handing out the Quran and pamphlets on understanding Sharia, as well as offering hijabs to female students. Marco Hunter Lopez, president of the recently formed Wiley East High School Republican Student Club, alerted the public and raised concerns in videos posted to social media, which went viral Monday after being shared on X by state and national media influencers Sarah Gonzalez and libs of TikTok. We typically have colleges come out. We have our clubs that have tables. We've never had a faith group, to my understanding, said Marco. A group to Wiley East families Tuesday evening. District officials took full responsibility for the incident. If proper protocols have been followed, this incident would not have occurred, and I've taken it very seriously. Yeah. I'm going to leave this up. I won't read this again this afternoon. Put that in. I want to circle that one so make sure. What do we got? 6:58. Let's see. I'm running way out of time. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick brief real quick on, we have our Lincoln Reagan dinner. It's on February 21st in Gatesville at 6 p.m. Please get your tickets. Use the QR code or look in the show notes section of the podcast, and you will see the the link to be able to go get your tickets. Please do so. All right. I didn't get a chance to mention the Dalmatian this morning, but if you're hungry, go check them out. And then I am getting ready to get out of here for this morning. So I will see y'all at 12 o'clock. Man, 30 minutes goes by way too fast. So I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out, and I'm going to transition us to Vince, I believe. All right. So here we go. And I'm transitioning my screen over. I initiated a raid. Have a good morning. I'll see you all at noon. We have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, Chad Prather. Oh, all right, even better, Chad Prather.